Good morning, everybody. Michael D'Imperio live from the Steelyard, fake Airstream in the background behind me. Here with Ashley Grigg and Terry Venable from High Point Market Authority. You two, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Hey, Michael, it's good to see your face.
Good to see you guys.
Yeah, good to see you, Michael.
So the last time I talked with somebody from your team on a Zoom chat was Tammy in the back porch, during market week, actually. So it was the last Zoom chat we did, and we talked about, obviously April market, but we're here today to talk about October. We are absolutely excited, pumped up for what's coming here in October market. And I was sharing a little bit with you guys that we just got done our survey of designers, and the number one thread through that survey was, we are fine working virtually, but we need market. We need to go touch and feel and see. So we are excited about that. So we're here to talk about it. We've got High Point Market happening, gosh, see my notes already, October 13th to the 21st. Take us through that, guys. That's 9 days, and I hear some rumor about 3 periods. So take us through what that looks like.
Okay, I'll start. Terry, jump in at any time if you want to add any more details in there. But we actually went out back in May with this expansion of fall market, recognizing that it's going to need to look different. But we changed it from the 5 days to the 9 days, knowing that we're going to need to spread the crowd out. Now, of course, anybody that knows High Point knows that it's very unique in its structure. It's already spread out. It's not a typical single or a few buildings. It's not just one block or a convention center with small hallways and little booths. It is 13 city blocks. So we're really spreading out before everybody else already had to do that, with social distancing before it was cool, I guess you could say. But even more so, given the crowd that's usually here at market, we wanted to spread that out a little bit more. So took it from the 5 days to the 9 days. That was the very first thing that we did as part of our High Point Market Safe initiative. And then also we kind of took the map of the United States and drew a line through it. We worked with IFRA, so we made sure it worked really well with sales territories, and broke that down into 2 different regions. And then we took the 9 days, broke that up into 3 periods, and then are asking you to attend in a certain time frame based on geographically where your company is located. And so that helped make sure that the spread actually happened and it wasn't just 9 days, but everybody showed up on the same days anyways. So all of that you can actually find on the website, highpointmarket.org/HPMKT safe. But we definitely want to make sure that people are registering based on those periods. That's the very first thing you can do in order to help us with our safety measures this fall.
Okay, so math was never my strong suit, but we've got 9 days broken into 3 periods and 2 regions of the country. It's actually really simple when you look at the site, as you said, right? And I'm not going to pull it up now because it would distract us, but I think you're right? It's very easy to see what the opportunities are when you can be there. And I think a question that we've gotten a lot from designers we're talking to is, well, I travel with other designers when I come to High Point Market. So I live in North Carolina. My friend comes from Virginia. There are actually overlaps, though. Right? For period 2, you can have somebody from region A and region B in period 2. Or, somebody from how it works, right? So there's an opportunity to still travel with the group that you do. High Point's social. High Point is an opportunity for designers to come together that often come to market together. So that still exists, right? We can still do that.
Absolutely. And we're not locking you into 3 days either. I think that's been a common misconception. What we're saying is that's your primary attendance days. So let's say if you need 4 or 5 days to do market, we love that. We want you here for that time. Just make sure that your primary days are in the period that you select. So, and if you do want to come with a friend, if you're in region A, you can pick period 1 or period 2. And if you're in region B, you can pick period 2 or period 3. So there's actually a natural overlap there if you're going to be walking every single day with a person from another state that's maybe not in your region. But the important thing is if you're in region A and you're picking period 1, even if you're staying over a little into period 2, if your main attendance days are in period 1, then that's what you want to register for, because that helps us spread that attendance out.
Right. And I think I think the reality too, Michael, is we're trying to be, we know there needs to be some flexibility, but the goal is still the same, to really spread things out and help people be better able to social distance. So
Absolutely, Terry, and that's a good point, right? Safety is the number one priority here. We still want everybody to have a good experience at market. We want the manufacturers and the brands to have good attendance in their showrooms and the designers to get what they need, but we've got to be smart about it, right? So we've got to have some safety protocols in place. Love the hashtag HPMKT safe. Love that. Fantastic. So Terry, take us through some of the operational issues with safety, or not issues, but opportunities really, right? To help people social distance and what that looks like, because 13 city blocks, huge area, we've got shuttles, we've got all sorts of ways that we get around. What does that look like from your perspective?
Well, I actually mentioned earlier that we are spread out, and the reality is that that's always one of our biggest challenges. And I think in our current situation, that also becomes one of our assets. So when you come to market in October, you will see a lot of the same things that you normally see, but there'll be some differences. That you'll see some things that you haven't seen before. You'll still see our shuttle system, our extensive shuttle system, shuttling individuals from the airports, shuttling individuals from their hotels. So we're still operating shuttles to 94 hotels in the Triad area. We are still operating our park and ride lots. We're anticipating a lot of drive-in traffic this market. Sure. So we're really beefing up those park and ride lots and staffing those locations and those shuttles. We are continuing to move people around those 13 blocks in the downtown High Point area to be able to shop effectively and move from one showroom to the next. And we still have our own demand service. One of the things we'll probably be doing in October, that we will be doing in October, is really beefing up that on demand service. We'll be utilizing that a little bit more, and we'll be utilizing some different vehicles. We'll still utilize our vans, but we'll also be utilizing some minivans and some SUVs and maybe even some sedans. There'll be more single rider situations or single party riders, smaller vehicles that will be moving people around downtown so that people aren't getting onto a larger piece of equipment. Sure. Of course, all of our shuttles will have limited capacity, no more than 50% capacity. So when you're picked up at the airport, there'll be designated areas where you can sit and where you cannot, to allow for social distancing. We'll have a staff that's moving around the downtown area, sanitizing, wiping down touch points, wiping down areas that railings and benches and any outdoor seating areas. We're anticipating having more food trucks actually in the downtown area. A lot of showrooms have decided they may not serve lunches or looking for other options. So we'll have more food trucks in the downtown area, more outdoor seating that can be spaced apart a little better. So we'll have sanitation staff walking through, cleaning those areas very thoroughly. So the buildings are taking a lot of steps to make sure that they're able to social distance as people come into their buildings and in the showroom. So there'll be some things that look very similar, but there'll also be some things that you see that are a little different as a way of enhancing our sanitation and promoting social distancing.
That's great. I mean, you've thought through some of these concerns people have, right? How do I get on a crowded shuttle? That doesn't seem to work anymore. You've thought that through. How do I eat, right, if showrooms aren't serving food? The food trucks, great idea. I have a request. Can I have a Lamborghini take me around?
I will look into that. I will look into that, and we'll put your name on it if we can.
Awesome. I would love that. That's fantastic. So when we
need to run,
just one's fine. Absolutely. Yeah. When we are going around, we're getting there safely. We're in the building safely. We're going to see some really cool things, right? I mean, there's a lot of brands doing new things. We talked about in April, we were super excited about Christorama being back at High Point Market for the first time in several years. So I can't wait to see their showroom. Sunpan is going to have a really big footprint. They're expanding their footprint and rolling out an expanded showroom, launching rugs, doing new things. Lexington doing really cool things as well. Vanguard, Global Views, all the brands that are committed to High Point Market and committed to their designers have big plans, to show new product and really taking precautions, just like you said. But this is a chance to see new product and get excited in the industry. And that's really the gift of High Point Market. right? Not only socially being with each other and celebrating the industry, but the chance to buy, the chance to see, the chance to touch. And I think all of that is still on board here. So that's what's really exciting. I love how much you guys have thought about. Now, what do we need to do as the design industry? What's our call to action? What do we have to do? We have to register, right? We have to pick our period. Take us through that, Ashley. What do all the designers watching right now that they feel comfortable that Terry's going to provide Lamborghinis for each of them and safety protocols are in place, what do they need to do?
Yeah, of course, there's going to be some attendee responsibility. Terry went over our commitment. We're working very hard as the market authority. You'll see the buildings, you'll see the individual showrooms are all very committed to following the guidelines that are out there at the federal level, at the state level, even the city and county level, making sure that everybody's safe. But in terms of as an attendee, what do you need to be doing? Of course, there's some work you need to do before you get here. Make sure that you're registering now. We want to get those passes in the mail. We've always been doing that, but that's even more important because are going to have reduced options on site for registration. You don't want anybody standing in lines, standing around, mingling, all of those things. So make sure you have your pass in advance. That not only helps you because you can go direct to the showrooms, but it's going to help you avoid lines, which is what we need to be doing in terms of safety this time. Make your travel plans. We've been talking with Lee Allen and the Travel Quest team. We've been also talking with the private home rental groups that we have on our website, and they say availability and rates are really favorable right now. So make sure you go ahead and lock that in. The hotels are even being even more flexible on their policies. So you can be changing things up a little bit longer. You have more time to decide than you would normally have for a market cycle. So make sure you're locking that in. And then when you're packing your bags, of course, make sure you're packing your face coverings. We'll have some face masks available on the shuttles, at the buildings, and the info booths, of course, if you forget it or you drop it or need a new one for any reason. But that is going to be required. And so that's actually a statewide mandate right now. So of course, go ahead and plan on that. For attendees and for staff, we're going to be requiring those face coverings as that's a really important safety measure that our health officials are telling us about. Other things you can be doing is just make sure that you watch all of the guidelines. Everybody needs to be respectful and bring their flexible pants and, have a little bit of patience. Terry's done a great job putting the schedule together for the shuttle so that nobody's waiting, even though it is reduced capacity. Make sure you keep an eye out for that sanitation cleaning crew. They are going to be going around and cleaning those high touch areas. We want to make sure that everybody feels safe, but it's going to be something, even monitoring your own health as staff, we're going to have to be checking in every morning and making sure that we don't have a temperature and that we're answering all the proper questions. You need to be doing that as well as an attendee. Even before you get in the car to drive here or if you get on the airplane, if you don't feel well, we really want to see you, but not this fall. If you have been knowingly exposed in the last 14 days, then we'd love to see you in April. Or even, of course, I don't think they'd say this, but if you tested positive, then please, let's see you next year. But,
sure.
and you can always, Michael, you talked on product. We can be accessing some of those things from our website. I think pre-planning is all the more important because you need to be scheduling your appointments so that you know where you're going through market. The exhibitors need you scheduling your appointments because they're going to have reduced capacity to deal with.
Absolutely.
But look at our website. In early September, we'll roll out with the section that everybody's always really excited to see, which are what's new section, where you're going to start to get details. You're going to start to get product images. You're going to start to learn about what some of those launches are that's coming up, or what's a new showroom, or who's moved and who's expanded, like you mentioned with Sunpan. So keep an eye out for that what's new section to launch on the website. It's always really helpful when people start to make their plans to attend.
Sure. I think you made a key point there, Ashley. There's some personal responsibility, as with everything right now in life, right? We've got to be personally responsible and make smart decisions, right? There's an opportunity to plan ahead too and really be kind of forward looking. Make your schedule. If you know when you're going to be there, you get registered, you make your travel, make the showroom appointments, know where you're going so there's less just kind of lingering around. I think that's a really good point. So we'll take a look at the site for September. Some events are up too. I know Style Spotters Live is always one of the biggest events of market. So that is scheduled, I believe, for October 18th, right?
Yeah, that's Sunday. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
So events, it'll actually be a nice hybrid model. This time we do have some scheduled in-person events, but those will be following all of the safety measures as well. So there'll be attendance will be spread out. Look for the area to be cleaned before and after. The speakers will be, spread apart from the attendees. So you can see that on the event calendar, what's happening in person. And then also if there are some of our buildings or exhibitors who are doing digital events or virtual events, but it's connected to High Point Market and it's happening during those 9 days, then we're putting those on the calendar as well. So make sure you look there. You're not going to find the big parties this market, which I know is just we're all having to deal with, but
Sure.
but there are going to be some really great events, and that important industry educational opportunities will still be out there. So be sure
Absolutely.
to check that event calendar.
Look, it's going to be different, right? Everything's a little different right now, but I kudos to you guys for thinking through all of the details. I already felt good, and I feel even better after this conversation about being there. Now, we won't have the Steelyard Airstream. I'm a little sad about that, but nobody's going to want to climb into the Airstream and have a teeny tiny with me this time. But things are still happening, and I love that. So thanks for thinking through all the details. I will make sure I'm packing my masks, especially, have you guys seen the Howard Elliott masks that have the little flap for drinking?
For straws.
We all enjoy a good cocktail at High Point Market, so I need to get my Howard Elliott masks. I'm hopeful I can wear that to the Jonathan Charles Gin Bar, different places that I'm hoping are still, having some drinks there at High Point Market. Ashley, Terry, I know it's a unique time. Really, a lot of credit to you and the team from High Point Market Authority for thinking through the details. We're excited for market. We know the world is different, but really the touch point of being at market each April and October is so important for our industry, so important for both the brands and for the design community. So thanks for thinking through everything. Thanks for spending a little time with me today. Anything else besides my Lamborghini request that we need to talk about, Terry?
I think we're good. We'll take care of you.
Fantastic. Ashley, Terry, thank you so much. We're excited. All of our designers need to go to High Point Market site, get registered, book your travel, and we're all going to be together in October. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Michael.